living. Utilizing today's technology with the best of the past to bring you innovative ideas and up-to-date information for creative lifestyles in today's active world. With your host, Cheryl Borden.
It's so nice to have both of you here today, and in reading the brochure, and of course I went to your website immediately, I just find what you've done amazing. And maybe I'll start with Nikki. Just tell us real briefly about how TwoMothersFoods started.
We started as a food program for our school that we were both parents at. We met, we cooked together, we decided to replace the conventional ordered out pizza day at our school with homemade organic pizza that made no garbage, and we branched out from there to a 5-day-a-week program at our school.
And Christy, you also have a store now where not just school people are benefiting from this, your local community can.
Yes, we do. We have a store, and we also are garbage free by using tiffin tins in different sizes, and all our carryout is in mason jars in varying sizes.
So you've really expanded what started as just helping your kids out on one day at school and all of the kids. I think that's wonderful. You didn't just do this for your own kids. Well, Nikki, nutrient rich is something you really try for in every meal. Maybe if you'll explain what you mean by that.
It's actually nutrient preservation that we're talking about.
Preservation.
And part of being a garbage-free, waste-free restaurant means really respecting food and not wasting it. Mm-hmm. And so one of the ways, most restaurants wouldn't have any of these containers, but we have 3. Every day when people are prepping food, we have 3 containers out. This is a regular compost. We would label these if we were at our kitchen. Mm-hmm. This is pig and chicken food, and this is broth trimmings.
Broth trimming.
Broth trimming.
The soups. You really
so as you break out your, let's say it's time to prep carrots and onions for a soup, you peel the carrots, and if the peels are clean and nice, mm-hmm. they go into a broth bucket like this, which we save and freeze, or we immediately make broth if we have enough. Mm-hmm. We'll make the broth. Then the cooked pile of gooey yumminess, you might throw that away, but we don't do that. That goes in to the pig and chicken food pile, which is kept in the refrigerator and every Thursday brought to the farms.
And you do a trade out with farmers, I think is kind of unusual.
Yes, we like our pig farmer has 2 buckets, and he gives us the empty bucket from last week, and we dump in the pig food from this week from our refrigerator. And the same thing goes for our flour guy, has a couple of buckets, and we eliminate the bag that normally a 50-pound bag of flour would come in a pretty lot of wasted paper, and so we've eliminated that. And most of our farmers, we use giant cloth bags and duffel bags
that can be used for other things then. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you really stay away from recycling. Your purpose is to try to eliminate as much as possible so that you don't even have to think recycle.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Well, you started to mention the containers, and why don't you tell us, Christy, how you do this, which started as a lunch program at the school. How did you package it? How did you get it there?
Well, for our lunch program, we have these tiffin tins, which we would put 2 children's meals in here, pasta or chili or pastry, an egg roll, and they would be delivered to the classroom. Then we pick them up in thermal insulated bags and wash them, and the same thing would happen the following day. And then for our pockets, our pizza pockets, we would package them in bandanas, red for meat products, blue for vegetarian. Oh, and
so
I'll
the kids
just show
know which
you,
one they want to get.
Give you a little look at, this is a bean and cheese pocket.
Mm-hmm. That's why it's in the blue.
So
it's packaged in this. This is how you would take it to the school.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And then that bandana becomes both the plate and the napkin for the child.
Eliminates, and you don't have to have the plasticware or whatever, which is thrown away too. This is bean and cheese.
Bean and cheese.
Chilies or whatever.
We use green chilies, pizza, sausage pizza, vegetarian.
Ham and cheese.
Ham and cheese.
Mm-hmm. And then mason jars, you know, we've all got a cabinet full of those, but unless we actually do food preservation, sometimes they just get pushed to the back.
Right.
How do you use these?
We use these to package our carry-out food, and also we don't use plastic for our cooler at the restaurant. We just package everything in these glass jars. And we also do smoothies, fresh smoothies with fresh fruit harvested.
In the jars too?
In the jars.
Oh, I would have never thought of that. And you keep your spices in these little bitty jars, so you make use of
We also
all
use
different
those
sizes.
for like a sauce that might come with something, a samosa sauce.
To send with it.
Yeah, if you had barbecue sauce or any sort of sauce, you put it in there.
But do you get these things back from these people and kids? You get all this stuff back each week? Or?
We get it back, and it's constantly circulating, people taking and bringing back, and it's working pretty good.
I think people feel good bringing it back. They really do.
So they're doing their part. But what about, you started just the two of you, the two mothers. How many are helping now in the business?
We have about 4 or 5.
Is it hard to train them to cook the way you do and to, save things, not throw it in the trash?
That's the biggest challenge. Cooking's one thing, but really making people understand what's the difference between what you'd put in the compost, what you'd put in the pig and chicken food, and what you'd put in the broth. It is kind of complicated. You can't put eggshells in here, but you do want to put eggshells in your compost. So
So do you raise a lot of your own food?
We actually do have a garden. And this year we did pretty well. Tomatoes failed in Illinois this year, but we did a lot of our own parsley, peppers, tomatoes, and a lot of dill and basil and oregano we grew ourselves. Lots of spices.
Things that you can't buy locally, how do you get?
The first thing we try to do there is eliminate them from our world. So if we try to design our menu in a way that we utilize as much local stuff as possible and as little imported stuff as possible.
So don't use it if possible. But if you do have to get, say, cheese or something from somewhere else, what makes you choose one company over another?
The most important thing to us is, especially with an animal product, is respect and humane treatment of the animals. And so that ends up being a grass-fed usually. So whenever we're looking for an animal product, whether it's meat, eggs, or dairy, we're hoping to get a grass-fed animal product. That's it.
And Christy, I understand besides the store, you also provide meals for the handicapped, if they have special needs, people who are ill, the elderly. How does this work?
Well, some people have sensitivities to dairy and wheat and many other things, so we will actually customize a diet for our customers that will suit their needs.
Do they come in and you do a little consultation with them, or is that how it works?
Generally, we do something like that. They'll give us a list of things that don't agree with them, and we'll work with them.
And you have soups and sauces, the burritos or things like this. What's your all-time favorite, for the schools, rather?
For the schools, I think pasta primavera, because we can use many different vegetables according to the harvest, the local harvest.
You can vary it.
It's colorful and has garlic. I like garlic, so I like the flavor of it.
And Nikki, what about for your carry-out for the store? What seems to just fly out?
Lentil soup.
Lentil
soup is our biggest seller. And
year-round?
It
just
really
in the
is
cold weather?
year-round. It is. When you look at the numbers, that's the biggest one, and it's because Christy has made the world's best lentil soup.
So you come up with your own recipes most of the time. Do you ever have people suggest recipes to you and say, my mother or my grandmother tried, and then you try their recipe?
Sure. Sometimes we try to make a healthier version if they have something they like, and because we don't do any frying, we bake. We just made some really nice baked apples stuffed with rice and raisins, spices.
It sort of changes the way some of us were brought up to eat, so we're having to educate people, and starting with the kids is the best way to do it. Get them young, teach them. Well, I really congratulate you on what you're doing. It's just wonderful, and thank you for telling us about it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cheryl.